excited to take you to the next bracha. The next blessing we have is, remember we were learning the 13 blessings that are the centerpiece of the morning brachot, and we were doing number 7 today, is a blessing. Last week we studied about the blessing of our strength. Hashem gives us strength every day to the weary. This week is another bracha, Baruch atah Ad Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam. If you're following it, it's on page 6 in the Siddur, page 6, blessing number 7. If you don't have a Siddur, I suggest you buy yourself a Siddur so you can follow the class a little better. A little bit. Okay. Can you hear me? If you hear me, give me a thumbs up. Hear me good? Okay, very good. The next blessing is, blessed are you, God, King of the universe, who spreads forth the earth above the waters. So you remember, we say one bracha when we wake up. So here we hear the rooster. Thank Hashem for waking us up. We thank Hashem for opening our eyes. We thank Hashem for releasing the bound. We're able to have movement. We're able to straighten out our back. Another bracha, straightening the bound, get dressed, clothing the naked. Then we have Hashem gives us koyach that we can, we have movement, we can move around, but we're still in bed. The next bracha we make is when we put our feet down on the floor. Thank God there's a place to put our feet down on, that we have a stable earth. And this is this bracha, who spreads forth the earth above the waters. Now realize and recognize that when the world was created, there was water on the face of the deep. There was everything was water initially, right? If you remember the original Genesis and creation. And then on the second day, God made an order between the waters. He revealed, he had the water move away and expose the earth. So there's a place to walk for the dry land, right? And then he made a covenant between the earth and the water, between the land and the water, that the land is here, the water stays in the oceans. And so initially it was total water. And then God reveals the land, and he moves the water to the side so that mankind can have a place. And man and animals and all other creatures can have place to walk on the dry land. So that was a very important development in the creation of the world. So today, every day, we put our feet down on the earth. We thank Hashem, Baruch Hashem, solid earth. We're not putting our feet into water. When there is a flood or a tsunami or whatever, or some other chaotic situation, the waters take over, and then you have water. You can't. You're trapped. You can't step down. So we're thankful to Hashem every day. For every breath we take, we thank Hashem. One of the things we thank Hashem is for spreading forth the earth above the waters. So the fact that we have dry land, we can put our feet, and we have a place to be stable, that we're not drowning in the water, but we have a place we can stand on. So today we take it for granted. But those that are environmentalists and other things like that, they know how we can't take this for granted. If we mess up the universe again, it could go back to a state of chaos and water. And the fact that we have a piece of land that we can walk on, we're thankful. We say, Baruch Hashem, thank you, we have the land. And this is taken actually from the Tehillim in chapter 136 of Psalms. It's called Hallel Hagadol, the big Hallel. It's a prayer which we say every Shabbos in the daily prayers. And it's based on Ki Le'olam Chazdo. There's a prayer from King David, and it's all about Ki Le'olam Chazdo, forever and eternally is your kindness. So Ki Le'olam Chazdo, your kindness is eternal. And King David goes through a whole bunch of miracles that Hashem did for us in the past, and one of them that he mentions is these particular words, and that's why the men of the Great Assembly who authored the prayers, they culled a lot from King David. And they took it from the Tehillim. And in the Tehillim, which was written by King David about 2,500 years ago, maybe 2,800 years ago or so, by King David, the men of the Great Assembly who lived about 2,400 years ago, right? They culled from King David, and they took from his words. His words were precisely these words, that God spreads forth the earth above the waters. And we're going to talk a little bit about this from a more mystical, Kabbalistic point of view about the importance of the earth above the waters. What does that mean? Sort of an interesting thing. I don't know how it fits in scientifically, because in science, it's not above the waters, it's probably beside the waters. Underneath the ground, if you dig deep down, there's more like lava. I'm not sure if there's, but there is water also. You dig deep down, if you want to make a natural spring, you dig deep down, you have water there too. There's lots of water underneath. If you go deeper, you get to lava, earth, lava, whatever. I'm not a geologist or a scientist, or I'm just a rabbi, a simple rabbi. So please bear with me. I'm not going to give you the scientific explanations of this, but the Torah speaks about who spreads forth the earth above the waters. And I'm going to tell you, besides for what we just spoke, that we are thankful for Hashem, that we have a place to put our feet down, and we should never take that for granted. That's the simple meaning. This is a Kabbalah class, so we'll tell you a little bit about what is Aretz and what is Mayim. Aretz is earth, and Mayim is water. And he says he spreads the earth above the waters. Okay. What is earth? Earth, as we know, is a very interesting phenomenon. And we know that Hashem, in the very beginning, it says God created the heavens and the earth. And our job as human beings is to bring down heaven to earth. That's what we have to do. That's our mission. Our mission statement, the mission statement of humanity is bringing heaven down to earth. Our job is to connect these two things. God created heavens. Heavens is the spiritual world. Earth is the earthliness. Earthliness, like you say some person is earthy. Earthly. Earthy means like really. So if you look at it on a simple level, I might think that earth is much lower than heavens. If you give a look at the word for heaven in Hebrew, is shamayim. Shamayim, there is water. So in a simple way you could say is, the old ancient man, when they wanted to say, where's the water coming from the sky, right? So shamayim is shamayim. The water comes down from the sky, right? I mean, even though the Torah clearly says later on, the aid yalem in haaretz, and a mist rises from the land that creates the clouds, and that's where the water is, and then the water comes back down to earth. So there's an ecosystem going on over here. But when we speak about heavens, we speak about heaven is sham mayim. It's a level of water, mayim. And aretz is earthliness, right? So water is represents more the spiritual system, the heavenly system, and earth is the earthliness. Mayim, heavens, aretz, earth. So here he says an interesting thing. He says, Rokah haaretz al hamayim. God spreads the earth over water. So the job of the human being is to discover godliness in earth. And then earth can trump even heavens. From a simplistic level, heaven is spiritual. Earthliness is farmers. It's earth. But on the other hand, the mystics speak a lot about the greatness of earth. The greatness of earth, that we find God's infinity in the earth. People that are farmers, they see Hashem's infinite power. We know that the highest level of the divine is the ability to create and recreate. Only God can create something from nothing. Right? That's an infinite power to be able to create from nothing something. When God created the heavens and earth, he created the world. Before God created the world, there was nothing. And when we say nothing, and we speak about the creation in Greek, they call it creation ex nihilo. Ex nihilo. It's a real heavy word I'm teaching you today. Ex nihilo means from nothing. You're creating something from nothing. That's the creation of ex nihilo. So God created the world, there was nothing. And when we say there was nothing, we don't mean that there's empty space, because empty space is already something. So, but God created the world, he created actually from complete nothingness. Now, complete nothingness, try thinking about it. Don't even try thinking about it, because it's an impossibility to try to imagine nothingness. Because if you're thinking of nothingness, you're thinking of an empty space. The human condition is one that we cannot possibly think of what it was like before the world was created, when there was nothing. Because when we think of nothing, we're thinking of vast space without any matter in it, but we're thinking of space, right? Nothing is not that. Nothing is talking nothing. Whatever you're thinking, it's not that. That's nothing. Nothing means not emptiness. Empty vessel is not nothing. So before the world was created, there was no time and space. So there was no space. Don't think too much about that, because you'll get a headache. And human beings cannot possibly think about what it was like before the world was created. So the ability to create from nothing, true nothingness, the something, only God can do. A human being can only create from something else. We take some eggs and we make a fried egg, right? We take some vegetables, we make a salad. We take some wood, we make a table. We have to start off with something to make something else, right? We have planks of wood. We can make a building. We have bricks. We can make a building. Even bricks itself, you have to make bricks, right? From the earth, turn it into bricks, mortar, bake it into bricks, right? Everything in this world is something to something, nothing to something. That's only a God can possibly do that, to extract from nothing something. That's of infinite power. But although only God can create from nothing to something, he did implant in this world that same impossibility in different places of the earth. We see a little bit that power of nothing to something. A child is born, childbirth, right? Child, you could say, well, it comes from the seed. Yeah, but what's the seed already? It's like a nothing, right? And from that seed comes a whole child. Every time I knew a doctor, that I used to speak to him, and used to be a obstetrician, to live in truly. He said, every time I go into the hospital, I look at it, it's a total miracle. A miracle, it's like a God miracle, a miracle of God. That from a nothing comes a something. Where does a child come from? It comes from a seed of the father, an egg of the mother. It's nothing there, right? It's a DNA code, obviously, but it's almost not. And also that power of the infinite is in childbirth, but somewhere else it exists as well. Where does it exist? This infinite power to transform from nothing into something ex nihilo, which still exists in the world, is in Aretz, in the earth. In the summer, you see it. You take some seeds of you go to the store and you go to the gardening place, you buy some seeds, and you put those seeds in the ground, and Mother Earth gives forth these luscious flowers, vegetables, fruits. By the way, the seed is the code again. It's the DNA. It's the code of what's going to grow. But when you put the seed in the ground, it doesn't grow even directly from the seed. It goes from the seed. When you put it in the ground, it first rots. The seed falls apart. It's totally rots in the ground, and then it just triggers off an infinite power from the earth with the photosynthesis or whatever you have, and then it gives forth. So we see a little bit of the power of infinity that exists in the lowest creature of this world, which is earth, which is lifeless, the earth itself, right? It has no life in it, and it gives forth life. So we find godliness in earth. The infinite power of Hashem we find in Mother Earth. I always like watching, you have a lot of people, they work on the gardens. They're so excited about working on the gardens. It's summertime, everybody's busy, they're digging and they're making. I don't know if they're thinking about what we just said. That it's actually, it's miracles. Every flower, every plant is a miracle. It's like from a little nothing comes this amazing growth. It's something like the creation of God at the very beginning of the creation, from nothing into something. As I'm just telling you that the earth has some infinite power within it that God has implanted in the earth. It's something like the original creation of heavens and earth. So what are we saying over here? Saying God gives us, spreads the earth over the water. That even though water, which represents the heavens, water represents the regular cycle of the nature. Water comes down from the higher to the lower. We said that's Shamayim. That is the spiritual system is Mayim. But in this world, Hashem gave us the ability to trump over it by doing mitzvahs with the earth. And now we're coming to Sukkot, which is very interesting. Sukkot is a holiday, a festival of the harvest season on the Jewish calendar. So God says, now is a time that I need you to come in contact with the plants of the earth and to see God's infinity, the earthliness, to see God in that earth, even more than the water is the actual earth itself. Find God in the earth. That's why on the festival of the harvest, we celebrate. We take an etrog, we take a lulav, we take there's all kinds of explanations. But the simplest explanation is that we thank God for the harvest. We thank Hashem for this that God gave us. We don't take edible fruit so much because we don't want to waste it, right? But we're symbolizing the harvest, the season of the harvest, that we're telling Hashem, wow, this is incredible, the power that the earth has within it, this infinite power of God. So we take the etrog and the lulav. Yeah, see? So we take the etrog. Okay, so I have here. It's already almost before Sukkot. I'll show you an etrog. It always smells good. See etrog there? Yeah, there you go. Etrog, a little bumpy this one, huh? A lot of bumps on this one. Yeah. But etrog is of a fruit variety. Like I say, it's not a waste really to use it because nobody really eats much. I mean, some people make jam out of it, right? But it represents just something which grows from the ground of fruit, right? And we thank Hashem when we think about the infinite power of God to take from a little seed, and the earth gives forth its fruit. We thank Hashem for the earth that He gave us, for the soil. That's what we celebrate actually on Sukkot. The same bracha that we say every morning. Thank Hashem for the earth. From Mother Earth, we call it Mother Earth, right? Yeah. And this is a very, very significant fruit, the etrog, because it's different than other fruits in many ways because it grows all year long. And the etrog fruit is on the tree in every season. So it's like an ongoing fruit that's always there. You ever go to the etrog places? They always have it there. They always grow. It's because it has very thick, almost like bark-like cover on it, right? It's like a lemon. But the bark of it's very, very thick on the etrog. And that's why it can weather all the seasons. So you go to play. I mean, they grow mostly in warmer climates. True, they grow in places like Israel. Rose is a big etrog grower. It can grow in places like Morocco, Italy. This particular etrog is from Israel. We support Israel. You see, it's happens to grow in Kfar Chabad. You can see the Kfar Chabad. It's a little backwards, probably. You see it, but Kfar Chabad is in Israel. There's a city called the village of Chabad. It's Chabad. So that's where they grow. Have entire many fields of etrog orchards, and they grow it there. And see, this is the bottom of the etrog, and this is called the top here is the pitum. Okay, so the etrog comes out of the tree from there, but it has on top this little stem-like kind of thing on top. Yeah. Some etrogim have it, some don't. But if it grows without it, it's kosher too. And but if you have it and it breaks off, then it's not kosher. But etrog has to be a nice, beautiful, clean fruit. The Torah calls it. The Torah it's called Pri-Eitz Hadar. Pri-Eitz Hadar, a beautiful fruit. But the sages say Hadar means Hadar from the lashon like dira. Dar means it always lives there. It always sits there because it's there. Hadar mishana l'shana. It lives there from year to year. It's a constant fruit. It's always on the tree, and that's what's called Hadar. But this is a fruit that we thank Hashem for the bounty that He gives us. That we have fruits, that we have vegetables, that we have trees, we have. So one of the things that we have to celebrate is we celebrate with the etrog. So that's one of the. So it's the season, and so it's the earthliness, and then we have. Okay, I'll take it out for you. A second. Besides for the etrog, which is the fruit, we also have a branch, a few branches. Also, again, the bounty, the season of harvest, right? So this is this branch here is known as it's called a frond, it's not working. It's called a lulav. Okay, it's called a lulav. It's a palm frond. A palm frond. Okay, so it's from a palm tree, and it usually grows with they have palm tree grow. Usually there's dates that grow on the tree as well, on this palm tree, and it usually comes from different countries. They grow some in Israel. Most notably, they come from Egypt. Believe it or not. That's where the most of the palm fronds come from, Egypt. Now, there's different kinds of palm trees, but you need to have the frond is the one that later on, after you let it grow for a while, it like sort of separates and it becomes like that, not like closed up. But initially, it grows closed up like that, and it has to be, according to the halacha, it has to be perfectly straight. So it has to be perfectly straight. You see it. And it can't be bent, and it has to be, you see there's a spine here that you have to make sure the spine is okay, and the leaves are closed. It's closed up. And that's a palm frond. So that's an important tree. We all a lot of the prayers we speak about from biblical times, the palm frond the palm, the date tree. Tzaddik tamar yifrach. The righteous King David says will grow like the palm, the date tree. So it's a palm date tree. That's what it is, and it grows a lot in that region of the world. And then we have another leaf, which is called the myrtle leaf, right? The myrtle. Some Jewish women are called myrtle, but the myrtle is it's in Hebrew. It's called hadassim. Hadassah. That's another Jewish name. Is Hadassah. Right. So you see over here the hadassim. If you look carefully, you'll see that it's that's a beautiful, also another beautiful leaf that we take up for Sukkot. It's a stem, and it has groups of three. Each one of the see, each one of them are see, there's three leaves coming out of each stem. So here, if you look there, you'll see there's like three leaves that come out of each stem, and it goes all the way down. All the way down, it's 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, all the way up. So that's that's in order to be a kosher hadassah, it has to have all these leaves. So if most of the leaves fall off, it's not kosher. It has to have majority of the leaves there, and they all come in groups of three climbing up to the top. And that's the hadassim, myrtle. And then we have the fourth kind, which is there we go. That's the willow, the willow tree, right? We all those that live near Green Lane, it's green, yeah. Yeah, I also live near a street called Willow Brook, right? Because there's a brook that has a lot of willow leaves. But there's a particular willow leaf. The willow leaves they come with, not with three, but two. All along the willows, there's like two leaves that come out of each stem. And it covers the branch as well. So there you go. There you got the three, and all these three go together. And then we take the etrog and we put it together. We make a bracha. I'm not going to do that for you, no demonstration of the bracha, but I'm mentioning this because we see how much Judaism is into praising God for the earth that we're given, and we, especially the harvest season, we take these different plants and leaves, and we give praise to Hashem, the beautiful world that He created. So we're very, very that's the Aretz. Roka haaretz al hamayim. And every morning we wake up, we thank Hashem for the beautiful earth, that we have a planet Earth. And like I said, but there is another explanation, which is given for this bracha. Roka haaretz al hamayim. The Aretz also comes from the word ratz, ratzon. Aretz comes from the word will. Ratzon in Hebrew is will. Aretz means the earth comes from it wills. So we speak about a lot in mystical works about Aretz represents free will. So like up in the heavens, Shamayim, Mayim, that's the place where everybody's good and everything's fine in the heavens. The angels are perfect. But Aretz, that's where you have Ratzon, that's where you have free will. Where God gives us free will. That's the realm of earth. So when you say the bracha, Roka haaretz al hamayim, that God spreads the Aretz, the free will, He's saying it's higher even than mayim. Earthliness, which is free will, the place of free will, is even greater to God than the heavens, which is represented by water. So Roka haaretz al hamayim, God gives us free will, and to Him the free will is even greater than water, because to Hashem, what's most important is that we live a moral, ethical life, and we make good choices in life. And when we make those good choices, to Him that's even greater than Shamayim, the heavens. So Roka haaretz al hamayim, He makes that the free will, a place where God's will is not so clear, and we make the right choices, that to him is much more precious even than mayim, than the water which represents the heaven. So we wish everybody a happy Sukkot, which is coming up. And the takeaway from this class is a few points. One is that we thank Hashem that there's a floor or earth, that we can put our feet down, that we can feel solid, that we can walk around. Thank God for the earth. We thank Hashem for the earthliness, for the infinity that exists in the physical world, the physical earth. It always expresses the infinity of God in its growth. We spoke about the lulav and the etrog and how we thank Hashem for the infinity which exists in nature. And then finally we have the idea of free choice, aretz, which represents free choice, that's higher even than the heavenly Shemayim. So that's today's class. Any questions from anyone? Any thoughts? Everybody's happy with what we're saying. No arguments.
Shana Tova. Good Shabbos to everybody.
Good Shabbos. Hope to see you for Sukkot.
Sure.
Wish everybody a good day. And we wish today is also the yahrzeit of the Rebbe Marash, the Rebbe of Shmuel, the 5th Lubavitcher Rebbe. So it's a special day, and hope to see you all very soon. Gesundheit. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.